What's up? It's Kyle here from Noob Gains, and I've got some very interesting stuff to share with you today. Just like the video suggests, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, this is a review of the Kinobody Greek God program, but it's also going to cover some of the unspoken or untold origins of O Gallagher, the creator of Kinobody, because I think I have some interesting insight on how his website came to be and how he was able to rise to the popularity that he has. So first of all, if you don't know who O Gallagher is, he is the founder of Kinobody.com, which is one of the most popular fitness-related websites on the web right now. He has a lot of advertisements on YouTube. He portrays himself as sort of like a Batman, Christian Bale sort of character, which makes his physique and all of his philosophies very desirable, and that has gained a lot of popularity very quickly. So I think there's been a lot of questions thrown around about this guy. Where did he come from? It seemed like he was an overnight success, when in reality that wasn't really the case. So in this video slash podcast, I'm going to cut this into two parts. The first part, I'm going to talk about simply O Gallagher, Kinobody, how it started, and then in the second part, I'm actually going to review one of his most popular programs, which is the Greek God program. So let's get started. First of all, what you probably don't know about O Gallagher and the Kinobody is that myself and O Gallagher were actually part of an online fitness blog related marketing mastermind group years ago. So let me throw out a name to you. Have you ever heard of Rusty Moore? Maybe, maybe not. It seems like this guy has almost dropped off the face of the earth. I don't know what he's doing right now. I got to give mad props to him. But Rusty Moore was the founder of a site called Fitness Black Book. And Fitness Black Book was a very interesting site where it dove deep into research and evidence related to fitness, building muscle, getting lean, and all of the alternatives to what the typical bro science that was being thrown around. And it was a huge, huge site. Astronomical traffic numbers, tons of people coming in every day, got a lot of attention. And because of this, this guy was a very prominent authority figure in the alternative fitness world. And because of this, he also put out a series of products, online ebook related things that he sold in order to get this lean kind of, not bulky bodybuilding look that most guys actually want. They don't want to look like a huge puffed up bodybuilder. They want this sleek kind of physique that still fits into nice suits and all that sort of stuff, which is kind of what I want. So he put out this series of products called Visual Impact. And it was a series. There was Visual Impact muscle building. There was Visual Impact for women. He eventually put out a cardio and also a frequency training series. I can put links to those in the description. But because of this, I actually bought the Visual Impact muscle building course back then. And what he started to do was he took his customers and he asked them, hey, would you like to become an affiliate? This is a very common practice online. Guys put out ebooks and then they recruit their, fans, their customers, and ask them, would you like to become an affiliate and make a commission off the products? However, Rusty Moore took it a step further and he actually created a completely different site and a completely different group that he called his Mastermind Super Affiliate Group. And I was a part of this, and so was O Gallagher. And inside of this group, he actually made blog posts every single week teaching us how to create our own fitness site and how to market it properly in order to make affiliate sales. Now, I know off the bat this sounds like, oh, this is so scammy and this is so weird. No, he was seriously teaching us how to read research, how to focus on things that your audience actually wants to know. Like if your audience wants to know how to build muscle faster, write a post about building muscle faster and the real way to do it. Don't be scammy. Don't try to lie to them. Just be a legitimate fitness blogger and then offer this Visual Impact muscle building program if you believe in it. And that's the reason why we became affiliates, is because we believed in the program. So in this mastermind group, I saw a lot of guys very, very early on, starting out with these sites that are now powerhouse, awesome sites that are very authoritative and have grown to astronomical levels. And a few of them are this. First of all, there was Crude Fitness. This guy named Clint Nielsen started this site, and if you look for it, it's actually called Reveal the Steel now. And he eventually created his own premium diet and training product called Reveal the Steel. So if you go to, I'll leave a description below. I'll leave descriptions for all these guys in the notes. A link in the description. So he had his own fitness product eventually built up of all the knowledge that he accumulated by creating this fitness blog. Then there's also Thority Nutrition. If you go to this site, this guy's got to be making a mint. I'll tell you what. He puts out a post every single day with so much research. He's got a team of people writing for him, and it was started just one guy. I saw the start of this site. The site actually started under the name chrischris.com. And I think he realized that this had no way a description of what he wanted to put out on his site. So he eventually migrated over to Thority Nutrition. This guy's name is Chris Gunners. And I believe he has some medical background. And it's an awesome nutrition site, very research-based. I encourage you to go check that out. Then there was also FitMuff, which is fitmuff.org. And this site is run by a guy named Keith Lai, who puts out a very no bullshit perspective on building muscle. He actually has his own premium diet and training program called Superhero Shredding, which talks about how to get that coveted superhero physique. He built this site up just from being in this group too. Fitness Black and White, another site. The guy's name who runs this is Kevin, and it's a very interesting site because he puts the whole style and layout in black and white, all pictures and everything, and he tries to make very simplistic explanations about everything about how muscle building works, about diet works. He built his site up from nothing. Bloom to Fit. You ever heard of Bloom to Fit? This is run by a guy named Surgeon. I think that's how it pronounces. It's got a kind of a weird name, but the guy's name is Surgeon. And he promotes actually muscle building outside of a gym using like kettlebells, jump rope challenges. And he's a very fun guy, has another great site, a great following. I encourage you to go to his site as well. And then finally, there is Kinobody. I actually saw the start of this site as well. When O Gallagher was just on this site, I saw his physique when he started out. Now, he was a much thinner guy back then, but he still had a six-pack. He knew how to work out and train very early on, and he very much followed in the footsteps of Rusty Moore on Fitness Black Book, where he promoted this sleek and sexy Hollywood physique. And I think, basically, because this guy looks so good out of the gate, people flocked to him and followed his advice much more adamantly. And that's how he started. One more site I will mention is trickingyourmetabolism.com. Don't bother going to the link because that site is not there anymore because it was my site. I started this site. That was what I was going to use to promote fitness and eventually be an affiliate for Visual Impact. However, I did not have enough consistency nor the motivation to keep up with this site and do all the research necessary at that point in my life. And eventually that site just fell off the face of the earth and I couldn't keep up with it. So maybe had I kept up with it, maybe I would be at Kinobody status right now. Who knows? But that site is not there anymore and I'm doing it again and it's under Noob Gains and that's what I believe in. So with that all in mind about O Gallagher, how he started, the mastermind group, does that make him a sleazy, scammy, son of a bitch cheat? No. That makes him a really good online marketer. I'll tell you that much. People get mad at him in general just because he follows one of the main marketing principles. I'm going to share this with you. One of the main marketing principles is cater to what people want, but give them what they need. If you actually read his posts, watch his videos, he offers you Hollywood physiques. He offers you six-pack abs. He offers you shortcuts and things like that. But when you really get down to the core of what the information is, in most cases, it is very real, it is very evidence-based, and it works. So I would not be hating on him just because he's popular, just because he's big. I mean, if your favorite mom and pop restaurant that you've gone to for 20 years all of a sudden gets a chain, does that mean you just have to hate them out of nowhere? I mean, it really doesn't make any sense to me. Just because he got huge, everybody starts hating on him. So that is the background on O Gallagher and Kinobody that people may not have known about. And I kind of saw him as he grew to fame and became what he was, and I got to give him mad props for that. And it makes me wonder, had I stuck with my stupid tricking your metabolism site, maybe I would have been there as well. But I decided not to. I went on to different things. So let's get into part 2, which is the review of the Greek God program. All right, so we are reviewing the Greek God program, and before I go into anything, I have to tell you my bias on this program. Because first of all, one, I own or have bought multiple Kinobody programs in the past. So I know about what is in them. I've used them before, and I've used other programs outside of the Greek God program, and I have to say, first of all, that they have done what they said they would do. Yes and no. So going kind of tweaking what I just said right there. I have actually had to tweak his programs to meet my personal goals, but I have seen them be effective on some level. Now I'm going to go into each piece and I'm going to be very transparent with everything. So let's just get to it. First of all, the Greek God program, what are the foundations of this thing? So he promotes heavy compound lifts. This is the bench press, overhead press, weighted chin-ups, and sumo deadlifts. Those are like the main exercises that he promotes. And because of that, you're going to need to go to a gym or you're going to need to get your own power rack. His training program that he advocates the most is reverse pyramid training. This is the core of the whole thing. And what essentially reverse pyramid training is doing the first work set is your heaviest work set. So if you think of traditional pyramid training, you lift lighter and lighter and lighter up to a heavy set. Well, if you stick that on its head, the first set is actually the heaviest, and then you do less weight but more volume as you go along. He also promotes micro-loading, which is the use of micro plates in order to make your weight increase increments from one session to the next 5 pounds or less. So if you want to go up by 5 pounds, you need weights that are 2.5 pounds, or even less, maybe weights that are 1.25 pounds in order to move up by 2.5 pounds. I actually do use microplates myself. Training 3 days per week. This is kind of standard. Alternating A and B workouts. So if you checked out my starting strength review, it's a very similar thing. This is common in beginner programs. So you have workout A, you have workout B. When you're working out 3 times a week, your first week might be A, B, A, and then the second week will be B, A, B. Very common. He also has some specialization options in his program. He offers chest, back, biceps, legs, shoulders, triceps. All of those are specialization if you want to tweak the program in order to emphasize a certain muscle group. He also talks about minimum effort growth acceleration, or MEGA training. I think he really thought about that acronym. But this is simply, have you heard of pump training? So training chasing the pump. That's pretty much just adding a lot of strategic volume in order to make certain areas of your body get a little pump because of it. So I think that's kind of a common thing. Calorie cycling and carb cycling, part of the diet. I do this myself, which is essentially having higher calories on one day and lower calories on another day. And he bases it on the days that you're actually training. So you'll have higher calories on training days, lower calories on non-training days. Intermittent fasting. If you have watched any single video or read any single post by O Gallagher, at some point he mentions intermittent fasting. And it's kind of a big joke because he says it so much. Intermittent fasting for muscle building, intermittent fasting to lose weight, intermittent fasting for getting bigger biceps. So he knows about intermittent fasting. He wants you to know about intermittent fasting, and you're goddamn well better know that this program has intermittent fasting. So there you go. So those are the foundations of the program. That's what he he promotes in the whole thing, and that's kind of what makes it work or not work. I haven't revealed yet. But let's talk about what the pieces that are actually in the program itself. So first of all, you get a 70-page ebook plus a roadmap. So the ebook is the actual Greek god program. It is very detailed, it's very laid out, and has very common language, which is kind of a departure from the starting strength book, which is more a very technical analysis of the mechanics of lifting and how to do the exercises, which is very, very different. So if you're more of a common language person, this is good. If you actually want to know technical details about how lifting can improve and little tweaks and things like that, Starting Strength is a much better suited book for you. The roadmap is kind of a progression of how you want to progress from being a noob up to an advanced lifter. And it's also kind of another marketing tactic thrown in there, because what he does is he talks about how to use the core of the Greek God program, jump into a specialization routine, eventually move on to mega training, and then transition into his superhero bulking program, which is another program that he sells. So it's a nice way to kind of transition you to, oh, you bought this? Hey, I got another something over here that's worth some money. You might want to buy it. But hey, I understand. It makes sense. There are also a lot of bonus materials in here, and essentially the bonus materials are FAQ guides. He's also got audio clips. He has a live Q&A session audio clip that he includes in there as well. And it's all basically if you have any questions on the program, because it's a lot thrown at you at once if you've never lifted weights or went on a diet before, that he tries to cover every novice question that you could possibly ask. He has A and B workout videos. So he actually created a video for workout A, he created a video for workout B. He is sitting there explaining all the exercises in it and basically how to set them up and how to perform them, which I really didn't expect, and I thought that was very helpful. There is a section in there for the Kinobody gear. I clicked this link, it went nowhere, and then the site would not load anymore. So, Greg, if you're watching this, you need to fix that section. I don't know what the hell's going on, but as a software engineer, that infuriates me. There's a little tip for you. If anybody didn't know, my day job is as a software engineer. You also get access to a private members forum. Now, I'm not huge on forums or special groups or anything, but I went to the forum. It's huge. There are tons of people. There are probably thousands of people in it already. And they're all asking questions, and I really don't know how he keeps up with all the answers. It seems like a lot of people who are sort of veterans of the program are answering the questions. So it's very active, I will say that. But if you're interested in a forum from being a member of the program, it is there. So, that being said, let's talk about what I like and what I do not like about this program. So first of all, let's talk about what I like. First of all, it is all inclusive. There's a lot more in this program than I actually anticipated. You get the ebook, the roadmap, the bonus materials with the audio clips, and the workout videos, and the access to the forum. When I actually bought an older version of this program. I bought version 2.0, and this is considered version 4.0. In version 2.0, all you got was the Greek God program ebook. That's it. That's all you had. And then he tried to answer as many questions as he could on his site. And I think at that point he realized it was just too much information and too overwhelming. And that's why he put all the FAQ guides, he put the audio clips, he put the workout videos and everything. And the thing is, I'm not sure he really increased the price all that much. So I got to hand it to him there. The program is very detailed. That's the second thing I like about it. So he covers about 95% of what you could possibly ask about the program. So he doesn't really, it's not vague, it's very detailed. He tries to answer as many questions as he can because he's been doing this for a long time. A lot of FAQ guides, that's the third thing I like. You're going to have some questions if you're a beginner, and he tries to answer them all. And number 4, the program works, okay? Depending on who you are and what your goals are, this program will give you progress. You will be able to either gain muscle on this or go through a very slow recomposition on this, because that's what the program is based around. This program is about building muscle, putting on weight, or you can gain muscle and lose body fat at a slow pace. This is the recompositioning. If you actually want to get shredded, you'd probably want to look at his Warrior Shredding program or his Aggressive Fat Loss instead. But this is based on building muscle or kind of making a slow fat loss and muscle gaining progression at the same time. So, but let me, before I move on, I'll also say that I used it, but I also had to tweak it to my specific goals because I was not making as fast a progress as I wanted to. So that being said. Now, what I don't like about this program. I know up to this point it's all seemed like unicorns, rainbows. Everything's good. Everything's great. Everything's awesome in this program. Okay, here's what I don't like. First of all, there is a lack of lower back development in the program. Now, he chooses some heavy compound lifts, but he leaves out the squats and deadlifts, traditional deadlifts, for a very specific reason. The sumo deadlift is in there. However, if you're familiar at all with what the sumo deadlift, it's a wide-legged stance, and it has you squatting way down and pulling up. And what it does, it removes using your back almost completely from the exercise. So you get very little lower back development from that. And he also removes squats from the program as well because he claims that it will give you excessive leg mass. Now, Greg and I both know, whether or not we want to admit it, the fitness industry and your progress is a slave to your genetics. One guy could do squats every single day of the week and still come out with little twig legs, and the other guy could grow squats bigger than your mama. How you like that? So, it's hard to say whether or not adding or removing squats from a program will actually make your legs grow. For me, I can do squats once a week, keep improving on my weight, and they don't really grow at all. They're pretty much weak because I sit at a desk all day, and so the first phase of improving my legs is actually just to make those muscles stronger with the fibers that are already there. They're not at the point where they're actually going to grow. And this is probably the case with most guys. Now, I know he's trying to promote a Hollywood physique, and giant tree trunk legs is not a part of that. And so as kind of a overcompensation, he completely removes squats and deadlifts from the program. I don't agree with that. But that being said, the program still works the way it is. So if that's a deal breaker for you, fine. If it's not, okay. The second thing I don't like about the program is the suggestion of reverse pyramid training for complete novices. And the reason I say this is because reverse pyramid training, like I said, it is having your heaviest work set as your first set that you perform. And this means you need to understand very well maximum effort, whether or not your form is breaking down, and how to critically analyze your work so that you understand one rep before failure. These are kind of ideologies and philosophies that you need to understand before really getting into pushing yourself very hard, very quick, which is what RPT training demands. I mean, if you go on the internet, you'll find 1,000 videos of people who lift with terrible form, who are just screwing themselves and killing themselves by performing exercises wrong and putting too much weight on the bar. And I think that RPT for a complete novice is going to exacerbate this issue, because guys don't understand what it means when you're pushing yourself too hard, or you're pushing too many reps. And that's kind of what RPT demands. It demands being able to understand those concepts and know your body a little bit and be familiar with how much effort you can put forth. Now, I will say, when you go to the sales page for the Greek God program, he does a lot of talk on there that sort of caters to people who have already lifted before but have not made good progress. So, my point might be completely moot if he is not targeting complete novices who have never trained or touched a barbell in their life. In that case, someone who has trained at least a little bit should be familiar with enough how their body responds and feels when they're lifting weight. And in that case, I would say RPT is okay. But for someone who has never touched a barbell, I would say reverse pyramid training is not the best option. Can you make progress on it? Of course. However, you are more likely to increase your chances of injury. That's all I'm going to say about that. Third thing that I don't like about the program, I am not a big fan of excessive specialization options for novice lifters. So the reason why, if you just start lifting, what is weak on your body? Everything. Everything needs work. Okay, you might think I want to get bigger biceps, but you know what? Your shoulders are going to need attention too, your chest needs attention too, your legs need attention too. And if you focus just on biceps, you might come out with a weird looking body. Everything on your body is weak. And what you'll find is if you stick to those heavy compound lifts primarily, all of them, your body is going to grow very evenly. And then once you reach a certain strength standard that you feel comfortable, that you've made good progress, then it's a good point to actually start specializing. And I think he lays that out in his roadmap, but I'm not certain. I almost feel like he shouldn't even have included those specializations in his program, just because it might be a little misleading. I know myself, when I got his 2.0 program of the Greek God, I opened that up and I saw a bicep specialization routine, and I did that first. He did not have a roadmap or how to progress at that point. And I looked at that and I was like, I want to do that first because I want big biceps. And I didn't know that that was wrong. That was stupid. So that's why I don't like the idea of specialization for novices, because everything is weak, everything needs attention. So to make better progress, you should just do everything. Just do the base program first, and then eventually move on to specialization once you get stronger. So this has been a huge video. I explained the origins of Kinobody, O Gallagher, how he got started, how he built up his marketing empire. I also went through the Greek God program. I went through the foundations. I went through everything that's included with it. I talked about what I like. I talked about what I don't like. So what is my final recommendation to you? What do I really think about this program? Well, first of all, I wouldn't base the program on whether or not you like or don't like Greg, because I think that's outside of the scope. But I will tell you what, his programs work. I've used them before. I've had to tweak them personally to meet my own goals. But if you were to follow his program for verbatim, you would make progress, you would make gains, you would get leaner. They work. Yes, there are things I don't like about it. I like doing squats and deadlifts, and he doesn't. So that's one thing we disagree on. I used reverse pyramid training for a long time, and I made some pretty good progress on it. I don't do that anymore, and you can make progress on it. That's fine. So the micro loading, that's a good concept that makes good progress. So what am I saying? The program works. I give it a thumbs up. If you want to check it out, go to the link in the description. That's all for now. Until the next video, next podcast, I'll check you guys later. Make some gains.